What up, what up, what up? This is Donald from the Pinstripe Chronicles. I'm joined by my co-host Tats, and I've got the boss of NYY News TV, Pete Simonetti, on with us. We're
Yo,
going to be going in a deep dive of the Yankees, the postseason disaster, probably our worst meltdown since 2004, which incidentally Aaron Boone used to use as a motivational factor. So that was great. We're going to get into that, and then we're going to get into the off-season ahead, Aaron Judge, Brian Cashman, and then we'll maybe do a little bit of keep them and dump them, and then some free agency landing spots as well. So it's going to be fun. Buckle up, people. We got a lot of opinions. We got a lot of things to say. Hit the music, Tats. Thanks so much, everybody. So we have the Don, the boss of NYY News TV, but more importantly, my good friend Pete Simonetti. How are you doing, brother?
I am doing phenomenal. Let me just tell you right now, okay? I am doing phenomenal.
Hey.
I tell you what, I needed to hear that music again. That heavy rock right now is really good.
Right.
That hit the spot. I'm telling you, I needed that like a little louder in my ears. It's gonna be really good. But no, I'm really I am doing great. I hope you guys are doing well. It's always a pleasure being here with you guys.
Yeah, Pete, the last time I saw you, we were in Jersey. Once again, reminding why New Yorkers should never be in Jersey.
And also reminding myself why I need to be secluded from people, not all the time around people, because I tend to jump off the rails a little bit every now and then.
But that's what makes you you.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
It is.
we Donald and I were lucky enough throughout the season. I got to throw this out there. You threw the event at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And it was the first time, Donald was in in the States from Scotland. So he and I, it gave us an opportunity to meet. And that was because of you. And the event altogether, what NYY News did and your team put together was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it really, I can't wait for the next one.
Oh, it's going to happen. 2023 is going to be really a loaded year. We got so much already on and just already lined up for the year and what we're going to do, what we're planning on doing and growing and all that fun stuff. But it's a great time for Yankee content creators in general. I mean, everybody's having, so much fun out there. I always say I respect everybody who does content creation because you're here, your opinions don't really go away. It's there. You can go look back and watch it and see what people said about certain things. So it's always a ballsy thing to do, so to say.
Yeah.
Shout out to my co-host at the Boys in the Big Apple, Alex. Yo.
There he is.
So
if he didn't show up, he was going to be in trouble.
That's right. I told him he better come on, man. He better. So Pete, it's been a year and a half. It sure has. First of all, now we did this with Hector, and we asked him his regular season grade. How would he have graded the Yankees season? He gave it a B, but he actually wanted to give it an A. He gave it a B. I gave it a C plus. Tats, what did you give it? I can't remember.
I gave it a C plus. I think we were all in the same stratosphere on the Chronicles that it was a C plus, a very low B minus, just because of the postseason struggle.
Just factoring in the fact that, okay, it was a complete failure because they did go farther than I anticipated, considering the mess that the roster was in that going into the year. But then, the Aaron Judge hitting 62 home runs and going a little further than we thought. I mean, that's not a complete failure, but then, of course, they got swept. So how would you grade it?
I would, it kind of sucks doing it after everything they've done in the offseason already with all the comments they've made. But I still personally, I would say a C. I would give him a C. Because you got to look at it as almost 2 seasons, right? I mean, first half was phenomenal. And I remember, during that first half, people were comparing him to the 98 Yankees and this and that. They're the greatest team of all time. And I remember going on my lives and saying, hey, guys, look, let me tell you what you should do. I said, I'm not telling anybody how to be a fan, but here's what I would recommend doing. Be happy with where the Yankees are right now. But do not put that type of expectation on it because let me tell you something. they haven't faced no adversity yet. There's been no injuries. There's been none of the red flags that we all saw in the offseason. None of them have popped up. They've been playing exceptionally well. Good for them. Everything has gone their direction. Just, I'm not going to go out there and say they're the greatest team of all time that we had in years. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for a while and see what happens. And then the crash came and they started to manage differently. They didn't hit and run no more. They didn't steal bases. The whole game changed. The Jays and the Rays got very close at one point to overtaking the division. And we were scared to the point of being like, oh my God, they may not win the division after being 18, 15, 16 games ahead. So me, I give it a C. There was goods. I mean, the offense side, you look at the goods. Is it Aaron Judge? Anthony Rizzo got up to a great start, really tailed off big time in the second half. Stanton was kind of nowhere to be found in the second half. LeMahieu was hurt again most of the season, on and off. The young kids came up and they looked well. Unfortunately, one of them didn't come up in July when he should have came up to play shortstop. And the Yankees are kind of, in their own way, admitting it without admitting that, which is what they do amazing now. They play the spin game very well. So yeah, I would say a C. And I'll put the disclaimer out here. I'm a harsh critic, so I would give a C.
Yeah. So as Brad says, with all the red flags on the roster, a B is worthy. Okay, that's fair enough. As I say, Hector agrees with you on that.
I
think what did you say? If anyone gives higher than a C, they don't know baseball. I remember you said that. That was great. I like that.
That's exactly what I said. And that's what made Hector change his grade.
a little peer pressure there.
It was. That's a little pressure right there.
No, but
so,
what it was.
Let's get into the postseason here. Aaron Boone, right? How much blame do you give him for that postseason? Because in my personal opinion, that was the worst managed postseason I have seen in probably 30 years of watching the game. I would say it was right up there with the worst I have ever seen. You go right through it. So obviously we mentioned the 2004 motivational technique. How he ever thought that was going to work was unbelievable. It's also a disgrace to a winning organization that we had back then. It was a complete embarrassment. So you got that. Then you got Harrison Bader not knowing that he was leading off. Completely ridiculous. Then you have him being called out by Severino, Clay Holmes. The fact that he tanked game one of the ALCS because it wasn't the lane that he was looking for. You go right through it. And it was an absolutely abominable postseason. And then we've not even gotten yet into the shortstop carousel. So how much blame do you give him? Or is it mostly a front office thing? Or do you think the players underperformed? How would you
I mean, I do believe that there is blame to place everywhere. And it's funny because during the first half of the season, I remember I said it constantly. I said, wow. I said, Aaron Boone is managing this club differently. They're playing a different style of baseball. They're playing a more aggressive style of baseball. Mm-hmm. And then that really, and I don't want people to, Pete, that's because of injuries. No, it wasn't. It had nothing to do with injuries. No. They could have still played the same style. I don't want to hear that crap. No, it wasn't. Just because your roster shrinks, I know sometimes you got to adjust. But you still had many guys you could have played the same style of baseball. They refused to do it. They just stopped. Then he also went back to reverting to, I'm the guy that everybody's allowed to walk on me, and I let him keep playing. Early in the year, I was shocked when I saw Gleyber Torres bench for 2 games in a row. Joey Gallo was being benched. He was putting other guys out there. I'm saying, wow, good for him. And Gleyber reacted very well. He had a great first half. He reacted very good. And then whatever happened, he was out there every single day and it was the same nonsense. But when it comes to the postseason, I think there's blame to put everywhere. I do believe people always talk about, well, it was the players. Yeah, the players are the ones playing the game. But I'll be honest with you guys, I got to put the blame on the front office and Aaron Boone here. Mainly because the front office can also override certain things. I truly believe that. Now, to magically manage. But no doubt about it, the front office, because, hey, guys, look, I mean, our pro scouts are telling us to play a team like the Astros, you got to have speed and we got to have contact in there. It may be a really good idea, to leave Peraza at shortstop and put IKF at third in majority of these games, because you can't have guys striking out a ton against Houston. You got to have guys that get on base, move around a little bit, go first to third. And I remember saying it when the Yankees were going to clinch against the Guardians. I said all that. And I said, the Yankees cannot give anything to Houston. If they do, they're going to lose, and they're going to lose bad. They got to be a beast against that team, and they didn't put themselves in the best position to do that.
But is it also a possibility that we actually saw the writing on the wall with the way that we actually had to go 5 games with Cleveland?
Yeah, of course.
We were in trouble against Houston.
Of course. No doubt about it. I mean, I remember, again, and that's why I said, like, the funny thing, we're in a weird position as content creators and Yankee fans. Thankfully for me, excuse my language, I really don't give a shit. I just say whatever I'm going to say, and that's it. We're in a weird time overall where you got to play one of the sides. If you can't be down the middle, you can't come out and say, I think Boone did a good job to start the year, but I believe he should have been fired at the end of the year. Oh, but how can you say that? That's what I saw from it. It has nothing to do with, thinking the Yankees are bad or thinking they played bad or there could be a good team. You got to like choose one to be extremely positive or choose one to be extremely negative about it. You can't just call it down the middle. The way the Yankees played against the Guardians, who really thought they were going to beat Houston? I mean, I think the most positive Yankee fan would have sat there and said, no, I don't think they're beating Houston.
Nobody did. Now, my theory
was game 1 for me when they trolled out IKF. First of all, we didn't even mention the fact that Boone completely screwed up the chances in the playoffs by the ALDS roster with the fact that he left out key guys such as Peraza, and then he was riding IKF. IKF, the very first play hit to him, he looked like he dived the opposite direction, and at that point, I went, "Oh, we're done. Like this team is done because they are actually willing to sacrifice an entire postseason just so they can back up their own egos over IKF." I was so pissed at that.
But that's what amplified the era of not starting Peraza.
Correct.
Because when Peraza had his first game in the LCS, the first ball hit to him, you would have thought he was playing in the major leagues for years.
Yeah.
Flawless.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I'm not. I've talked so much about Peraza, and it's funny because, I've spoken with people about going back to when he was 14 years old playing with adults, and they were like he was the best fielder then. So for the Yankees to even make it a competition when he came up and he was starting to hit, or how about in AAA when he was hitting 350 for a month in a row? At that time, you should have sat back and said, well, this is an easy call. Look, we like IKF, but hey, look, you're going to fight with Donaldson a little bit. You're going to play some second. You're going to play some short every now and then. The New York Yankees, here's a quote that I'm telling you guys. I said it in 2018, and I'll continue to say it under the Boone Cashman regime, and I'll never stop saying it because it is the most accurate quote. I'll say it right. It's the most accurate quote anyone's ever said of all time. I'm just going to say it that way about the Yankees. The Yankees expect to win, but they don't play to win. And that is as accurate as it gets. You can look at every aspect of the Yankees. You can look at free agency, trades they make, moves they make during the season, the way they construct their roster. And you can go, oh, what are they saying again? Oh, they're saying they're a World Series caliber team. They're the best in the world. All right, let's watch them play. Then you see them play and go, this ain't a World Series caliber team.
No.
This is not a World Series caliber team, everybody. No, they lied. They lied to us. And it's the same thing on repeat every single year.
Yeah, they gaslit us about IKF, and they actually were the ones that stirred up the fans' hatred. If I could actually be honest, I don't think the fans actually wanted to go after IKF as much as they did. But when you're being gaslit on a permanent basis, every day we're being told that what we're seeing isn't actually reality, and that in fact he is the greatest shortstop you will ever see in your life, it's gonna piss you off, and you're gonna have to vent. But who are you gonna vent to? Because Cashman doesn't play the field every day, so you're only gonna vent at the person that was playing the field every day, and that was IKF. Even though it's not his fault, he's a third baseman. He's a utility third baseman, not an everyday third baseman. Moved to shortstop, and we were being gaslit about it, and they were willing to sacrifice an entire year in order to prove that they were right about that stupid trade. and that's why we were frustrated. How would you assess this situation with the shortstop carousel that they had in the postseason and IKF season in general?
It's just bad. And I mean, I said the same thing that you just said the other night. You can't really blame IKF. And I don't think it's the whole media thing of the Yankee fans hating IKF. I think it's the Yankee fans hate the way the Yankees used IKF and told us what he's going to be. That he's going to be this, phenomenal shortstop. That's the greatest thing in the world, especially in an offseason where Corey Seager goes on to Texas and he's one of the best players in the league. You take away the shift. I think he had like 38 hits that were robbed from him. And, that's going to play a factor next year. Marcus Semien had a bounce back. The guy had no home runs for like the first month and a half. He ends up with 20-something. And he played great the rest of the way. Carlos Correa, look at the back of his baseball card. He, again, had a phenomenal season. So you look at all the guys that the Yankees passed up on, and you're just looking around saying, okay, they passed up on free agents. Cool. But they promised us he's a stopgap because Peraza's ready. So, I mean, what are you looking at? June, July? All right, cool. We could, I'll buy it. I'll go. He could field, right? Cool. Then immediately he can't field. And then he's playing till August. What the hell is going on here? And then you look down to Peraza, you go, the guy started off slow, and now he's one of the best hitters in the minor leagues, and the Yankees are still leaving him down there.
Brad, look at us a little. Exactly. You're late for the boss. What are you doing with it? Come on, man. Up your game here, son.
Unreal.
No, you're right. That's what. But the thing that really pissed me off is when they finally called up their top prospect and had no plan to use him whatsoever. And when Aaron Boone was asked, "What are your plans for Peraza?" they went, "Oh well, it's fluid. It's fluid. What the what does that mean?"
He's a moron. No, he honestly is an absolute moron. He really is. I don't know how else to say it anymore. It's just unbelievable to me that this is the only club in the world that would do this stuff. They're the only team that would say, hey, we just called up our second to top shortstop prospect, the one that's most ready, the one that we know is the best fielder of the two, the one that we know has just put phenomenal numbers up in AAA, did it in AA. We know all that. What are we going to do when he comes up? We'll let him ride Pine for a little while. He can look at he can smell the hot dogs in the stadium, look around. Everything looks cute. That's what we'll do with him. That's the experience he's going to get. Every other club, he would have been the shortstop in July. And I'm not joking when I tell you every other club. There might be your one or twos that are a little dumb like the Yankees are.
Look at the Astros. Who's their World Series MVP?
Rookie shortstop.
A rookie freaking shortstop.
See, when they first
and can I ask Pete, because you're very much in touch with prospects, how did he rate in comparison to Peraza? I don't think there was that much of a difference.
He wasn't even a top prospect. So
Jeremy
Pena wasn't one of the top prospects even in the Astro system. He wasn't a guy that they looked at as like, oh, he's going to be phenomenal. He's a great player. He put it together. He put it together at the major leagues.
No excuse for the Yankees.
That's what frustrated me with the moves that they did make with the prospects being brought up this year. You brought up Cabrera, and you saw the instant impact.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He was getting to play just about every day. They were moving him around to get other guys, some of the veteran players some rest. And it worked. And once he found his home at left field, he was, I think, as good a left fielder that we've seen in a while.
Yeah, he was terrific.
He really took to it very well.
Yep.
And then they call up Peraza. We're like, all right, they're just going to – they see that it could work if you give it time. They bring up Peraza, just like they screwed up with Florial. All right, we're gonna play him for half a game, then we're going to sit him on the bench for a week.
Right, yeah.
It's like you saw that it works if you have patience. Why couldn't they do that twice with Peraza?
Because their philosophy, their process sucks ass. That's exactly why.
Yeah,
their process that they brag about is not a good process. And, the funny thing about the Yankees is, again, one of the main reasons they passed up on a lot of the free agents, and they're going to do it again this year. Mark my words. I guarantee it. They already started it. They already started that conversation. And by all means, this year makes even more sense than last year because Volpe should be starting in the infield next year along with Peraza.
Yeah.
But I got a scary, terrifying thought that the Yankees will end up trading Peraza and keeping Gleyber Torres.
I have that feeling too.
That's my scary feeling that they're going to end up doing, but
out of spite.
We'll see. Yeah,
out of spite against the fans.
Well, here's the problem with the Yankees. I'll tell you right now. This is how dumb they are. And mark my words, you'll probably see it come true. Hopefully it doesn't, so I hope it doesn't. But this is just going based off how dumb the Yankees have been. The Yankees, trust me, they are pulling out all stops to make Anthony Volpe, and do the same thing with Volpe they did with IKF, to be the greatest player that we have seen. You could argue since Aaron Judge, since Derek Jeter. They're hyping him up in every single way you can, even to the point of saying they want to give him the lowest number available so he could be the next one going to the Monument Park. Guy hasn't played a game at all yet, but, we're putting all these expectations on him. Here's the scary thing, though. The Yankees would much rather, just because of Derek Jeter played short, make Volpe play shortstop just because of that reason, then put the better defensive shortstop there and put Volpe at second because they would feel they've done something wrong. That's how stupid this organization is.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was wondering because it really didn't make sense what they were doing. And I was thinking, is it all because of Volpe that they are actually reticent to use their top prospect at shortstop because they really have a plan long-term for Volpe at shortstop?
Believe it or not, yeah. That's how they think.
That's what I was thinking.
Believe it or not, that is how the New York Yankees think.
Yes, that is what I was thinking.
That is Brian Cashman all day. Brian Cashman might be the most ego-full person you'll ever see.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have Kevin Kernan on again in a couple of probably next week. And I just can't wait to talk to him again about it because, he broke it down so well last time I spoke to him. He said the biggest problem with the New York Yankees right now is Brian Cashman's ego. Yeah. He will not let these guys go. He won't sit there and go, it was a bad it wasn't a good the trade didn't work out the way we wanted it to. The way we planned it, it didn't go that way. He's not going to admit to that.
Well, we got a full chat here. Peraza got 6 games, but showed more in those games than IKF did. Oh, you're quite spot on, Brad. Michael H. In a pennant chase, normally never can depend on rookies. Pena is the exception, not the rule. I don't know, Michael. I really do think that if you're good enough, you should be playing, especially if you're better than the shortstop that you've been riding with all year.
Yeah, I was going to say I disagree with that one.
Yeah, me too. Chris the Flash, what's up, y'all? Likes up, yes. Subscribe. All right, we've got Hector I, the big 3 in the panel, my man. Donald, virtual hug for the Knicks trash. The Knicks suck. The Knicks completely suck. And I actually have to write about them in a couple hours, and it's going to hurt. Okay, Chris the Flash. I said this on another stream with why us fans complain about the spending because we put money into this organization. So we are basically investors. Well, yeah, but we are. Yeah,
that's what you are. That's what fans are. That's why I said for anybody to get upset when we demand excellence, well, you're the one funding the club. You're the one putting the money into the pocket of this team. So, yeah, you should demand excellence. You should demand that the Yankees are the best team. And people a lot of times refer back to, well, they haven't won in ages. How do you expect that? You expect it because, again, they're the New York Yankees, and that's what comes with wearing the pinstripes. That's what comes with being forget the dynasty. You're supposed to win as a Yankee. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah, because I had made a statement that when you're a fan of a sports team,
Hal spot on. Hal spends 29% of the team's revenue.
Yeah,
exactly.
And if you haven't watched the Morning Brew, he breaks down the numbers very well. Yep. Hector's the man. But
sure is.
I was saying on in the past, the problem with the whole issue with the fans booing and it's our fault and everything. I want to spin this to you. Does the fact that we are as hard on the players as we are and the organization, every fan of any team should take a note from take notes from us on how to be a fan, rather than us being the problem.
Yeah, you're going to have your jerk-offs every now and then, but everybody has that. But at the end of the day, no, if you don't demand excellence from your club, then I don't think you're doing the right thing. And at the end of the day, look, man, you could you could fan however you want to fan. I don't tell anybody if I pay $100 and something to go see a team, I'm going to boo Judge if I want. All right, hey, I don't agree with it, but hey, do what you want. Do your thing. I've done my fair share of booing. Aaron Hicks should have been booed all season. Josh Donaldson should have been booed all season.
I still haven't
IKF,
forgiven
because
Hicks
of the
for
Yankees, should have been. He's still looking at that ball on the ground. He's
exactly. I'm still not forgiving him for that, man.
I said it earlier, and while we have other content creators also in the chat, I want to bring this point up again. As content creators, if our process is only to put content out every day, and not worrying about views, we're doing a disservice to the people that do view us.
Of course.
And the same goes to the owners of these clubs. If they're not putting the players on the field that are going to make us successful, then what are you here for?
Facts.
What is your process?
Spot on.
Salute, Jigga man. Amen. Yeah. Come here, go to the NYY News TV, go do all this stuff for your Yankee stuff here, Jigga man. Yeah, certainly chat's on fire right now. Hal is treating his father's legacy as a joke. It completely is, man. It really is. Facts, Tats. There you go, Tats. You've got your flowers for today. Facts, Tats. We got Yankee Morning Brew. The Yankees are valued at $6.8 billion, being outspent by the Mets, who are valued 2.4 100%. Right. So let's get into some nitty gritty here. Brian Cashman. He's now at the GM meetings without a contract, which is very odd for me, considering we all know he's staying. It's an odd situation, but it's just typical Hal Steinbrenner.
How about Andy Martino real quick? Here's my big question: are you being paid?
Yeah, what was
it's
that?
Unbelievable.
What kind of stupid question is that?
I have no. It's just when he said that.
This is why Big Blue was right last week. Forget the reporters. I think that they need a media day with all the content creators.
Yes, 100%.
Let us ask the questions.
Just let me in there for 5 minutes. I mean, I'm probably not going to make it through 5, but let me in there. In there for 5 minutes, please. Well, here's my biggest issue with the media, and I'm sorry if I'm taking us to a different direction, but
no, go ahead.
I just wanted to throw this out there. My biggest problem with the media is quite simply this. The Yankees always give them like the easiest follow-up question, and they refuse to do it. It's like every fan's going, "Oh yeah, he's gonna go there now. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it." And then they go to, "Well, Aaron Judge." It's like, "Oh no, you had him right there. What are you doing?" Like so many times they've done that. Yeah, I would like. I'm telling you, Hector. I would have. If I was in that same room, I would have said, "Hold on, it's like I got a question. I got a question for Andy Martino. What the hell are you thinking?"
Yeah, I know.
What is that? But you're not being paid. Like, who gives a poop?
What is your major malfunction, Andy Martino?
How about you ask a question that the fans actually care? You think anybody cares right now if Brian Cashman's being paid or not? Who cares?
He's the one that started this crap about there's all the Yankee fans' fault, and then there's Yankee players that are so upset about the way that they're being treated, and the Bronx is particularly awful place to play right now in the postseason. Andy Martino was behind all that crap.
Yeah, it's not.
And then we had that awful article by Bob Clappish, which drove me insane.
We had where
the Yankees fans are, they're so vulgar and so mean and so cruel. It was driving me nuts because I know what this is. Like, this is spin. This is the Yankees trying to deflect blame onto something else so that they can stay off the blame for the fact that they completely blew the Aaron Judge negotiations in the offseason.
I tell you the truth. I love it. I love it. As content creators continue to grow, and I'll just, speak for my company alone. If NYY News TV continues to grow, they better hope they change their shit quick, because I'll be the biggest nightmare they ever had in their life. And we're never going to stop. Because one thing about me, I'm relentless. I'm never going to slow down. And people go, "Oh, it's just sports." No, at the end of the day, this is my dream and my livelihood.
Exactly.
Just like a ball player goes at the end, the dream is to be a professional ball player. My dream is to build this network, and that's what I've been wanting to do for a long time now.
No baseball player or athlete dreams of being a AAA player.
No, of course not.
Yeah,
so
no, in the major leagues.
And trust me, I want to root the Yankees on. I want to root them on. I want to be their biggest supporter and their biggest cheerleader, so to say. Yeah. But I tell you what, with the way this organization is, you can't expect them to win. Now, is it true that anybody could get to the postseason and win? Yes, that is very true. That they could be an 88-win team next year, somehow get in and win the World Series. You never know. It could happen. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry. I want my organization to be the Yankees, meaning
Facts.
be accountable. Please be accountable. Stop this nonsense of no, Brad. Yeah, Brad is 100% right. Shout out to my friend Brad all the way from Australia. What's going on, Brad?
Shout out. Salute.
But just please be accountable. We're not stupid. The one thing the Yankee fans are not is not stupid. You know, Twitter is a different story. But you got guys like us. No, we bring people on. You know, when you have a conversation with somebody, like you know your stuff. You're a real Yankee fan, and the Yankees, what they're doing now to the real fans is they're kicking us out the door. They're simply saying, you know, you guys are the reason. You guys are the bad ones. We're right. Our process, right? You're wrong. Because here's the question I would have asked, and I've asked people this a lot. Am I wrong about asking this? I would have simply said this, hey, Brian, I'm going to ask, or Boone, I'll ask you first, and I hope to ask Brian the same question. What is the major disconnect between the fan base and you all? Now, I know you said you don't listen to criticisms. I think you maybe it's time to do that, one. Yeah. But two, what do you guys, what is the reason that you feel there is such a disconnect between the fan base and this organization? What is that reason? And I would love to see what he said.
Tim was disturbing that Aaron Boone says that he pays no attention to what anything the fans have said.
And that no care about his job.
Problem. That's something that concerns me. Now, I'm not saying that he has to take everything to heart because there's obviously going to be some crazy shit that's being said, but there has to be some element of the organization going right. As you say, there is a massive disconnect here. How can we connect back to the fans? Because I'm actually in the full belief right now that they're at war with their fan base right now.
Yeah.
They are doing everything the opposite of what the fan base wants. Now, these are your paying customers, and they're disrespecting your paying customers by having your media shills tell them that they're vulgar, rude, and they're the reason why you're not going to get good things happening in your lives, like Aaron Judge or Yankees winning and stuff like that. And when you get that, then your paying customers are going to be pissed. Well, and they just do not care. They don't care that we want some accountability, and they're doing the exact opposite of accountability. And that is something which disturbs me. What did the Yankees send out all those hype videos? Oh, no excuses. What have we had ever since then? Excuses out of your freaking ass.
And they also love to bite themselves in the foot. They're very stupid. Like even that the hype video before the postseason where they're putting out people's comments talking about, oh, they weren't going to make it and this and that. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen when you guys lose? People are going to use those clips and go, yeah, I told you guys you sucked. It's just dumb. It's really it's a stupid way to go about your business. And by the way, the hype video was good. I liked it. But I mean, when you add things in, it's like let's you know what we do? All those naysayers, let's push it in their face. How about do that when you win the World Series? How about release that video when you win it? Don't do it before. That's stupid. It's the same thing when everybody was so pissed at me on Twitter. Oh my God. When the Savages in the box came, I said, oh, I'm not going along with that message. Wait a second here. Because once they get their ass kicked, what are they going to become? And everyone is Savages in the box. Yeah, being led by Aaron Boone. What Savage? What Savage are they being led by this guy? Are you kidding me?
I mean, it was something to hang on to and something to kind of rally with. And I understand that. I respect it. I was part of it. You know, my wife, you know, she made me a shirt, Savages in the, Savages in the box, you know, and the whole thing. But, you know, it was at the same time, it was just a media gimmick.
Of course.
And you really cut down to it.
That's all
we all bought into it. You know, a lot of us bought into it. I'm not going to say all, but a lot of us bought into it because it was kind of like that rally.
Yeah.
You know, but unfortunately, as we all know, as fans of sports, rallies end.
Well, here's my rally.
What you do next after that rally dies out, that's what defines you as an organization.
Correct. And my rally cry is very simple: win.
Yeah.
That's it. That's enough for Yankee fans. You go out there and win. That's all we want. The 98 Yankees didn't come out there and hey, you know, where you better believe those was you want Savages in the box. Those were Savages in the box. You want those were real Savages. Those were guys that, you know what they did? They put their head down. They played baseball and they said, you know what? We are the best, and we're the best. We're going to show why we're the best. We're not going to come out there every day and go, you know what? We're the best team in baseball. We're the best team in baseball. We're the best team in baseball. We're just going to win. We're just going to win, and it's that simple. It's that simple.
So let's touch on the press conference, the after season conference that they had. The thing that jumped out to me was obviously Brian Cashman saying process over results. That really flagged up to me. That really pissed me off because first of all, how can you claim that when you tell your fan base that you're competing for a championship every year? How can you then just say that actually results don't matter? It's actually just about this process. And also another aspect to this whole process thing, no other organization could say that because the proof is in the pudding. It's actually results which actually tells you whether your process is working or not. It's quite clear that this process, who the Yankees are completely locked in on, isn't working because they've not won anything in 13 years?
Yeah.
So how can you then claim that their process is perfect and it was everyone else's fault, but we're absolutely spot on and we are not going to take accountability for anything because it's process over results, even though the results aren't working. So that's a huge disconnect right there. I was so disturbed by that.
Well, that's the Yankees for you. That's they believe that. They don't think that's incorrect. That's exactly. That is the Yankees now. And that's, again, the thing that many of us are really fighting against is that the New York Yankees have no longer prioritized winning. They have prioritized, well, our analytic department is lockstep. Aaron Boone listens to what we tell him. He's okay with the process. Brian Cashman's running the show. The process is good. Mike Fishman is there giving us the information we need. And at the end of the day, hey, if all that is working and we feel that's working, we feel our outcome will eventually come. And that is the mindset right now of the New York Yankees. And again, what you think, what the fan base thinks doesn't matter because you're not in that room. So we can simply just tell you guys all the time what you believe doesn't matter. That's why, guess what? That's why Aaron Boone is so easy to say, I don't listen to outside criticism. And I'm also not worried about my job. That is a mix for failure. That is a complete mix for failure. I have no concern. It's so bad that Aaron Boone flat out said when he had the chance to come back in his first time and his contract was up, he wanted to come back because of the camaraderie. He said, I wanted to come back because of the camaraderie. And I'm sitting there going, I said, you are the leader. This is the problem. They don't have a leader. There is nobody in that organization that would get all those guys, Levine, Trost, Cashman, Boone. The Steinbrenners, unfortunately, should be them, but it's not. Put them in a room and walk in and fling a chair across the table and say, those fans are sick of what you guys are putting and the money that I'm paying. Something needs to change now, and you ought to start. So if
that was the exact thing that flagged up to me when he said he was coming back for the camaraderie. I was like, dude, it's not like a best friends event. It's not like you're at a
But that's what it is.
That's crazy,
Donald. That's what it is.
Well, we get together for camaraderie, but if it doesn't click, it doesn't click.
Of course, right.
We'll collaborate with other people,
right?
That are on our same mindset or can have a civil discussion.
But it's a business, and it's also a competitive industry. It's the most competitive industry, but the Yankees are not taking it as a competitive industry. It's basically as long as Brian Cashman is basically saying, as long as you do exactly what I tell you to do, then you're not going to get any problems from me. And that's basically what he says about the process.
Yeah, Cashman, it's that would have been the smartest move in the world. And people tell me, oh, Pete, you hate Boone. And it has nothing to do with hate. I don't hate anybody. Aaron Boone, Brian Cashman is a more problem than Aaron Boone. If somebody told me tomorrow, hey, look, you got to get rid of one of them, I'd say flat out, get rid of Brian Cashman. Put a new guy in here where they can have these conversations, go a different direction with this club. And by all means, the New York Yankees, I hear people talk all the time, well, you gotta redo the entire roster. You don't. They're not that far away. You bring, and I know we're going to get into like the prospect, the free agent stuff and that, but they're really not that far away. You just got to have a creative GM, and the Yankees do not have a creative GM. They just don't.
No, and that's the problem. I think Cashman and the Steinbrenners are so in bed together that it's one of those. If it wasn't for the kids, we'd be divorced already. Yeah. Like that mentality, that analogy.
Right.
I think that's where they've gotten to this point. where they're so vested in their marriage that they don't want to, they can't even process not being together.
That's right.
So they just they suck it up through all these bad times, hoping that it gets better.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. And look, you even go back to the whole I'm going to show the 04 video. And the way that Michael K had him on the ropes.
Yeah.
And then they decided to let him off. Because the simple question is, hey, Aaron, but you do understand, though, what the fans would think of this. Like, you guys are not this disconnected from the fan base to even come out and be like, hey, guys, you know what I did today? What'd you do, Aaron? We're down 3-0. I had Big Poppy on the phone, and I showed the Yankees the 04 video. I mean, you can't be this dumb. You really, it's like and he defends it like it was the greatest. Oh, you guys are we're overblowing it? Aaron, I think the biggest problem with you is you don't know what it means to be a Yankee. Forget your 03 home run.
He stuttered through that answer, though. He was I think you're overblowing it a little.
My question is, after all the fan outrage, what asshole in the PR department goes, you know what, this is the best idea we've ever had?
Yeah, it's sickening. It's, again, another, and I talk to this all the time. The right side of my face is black and blue from all the smacks the Yankees have given me. Yes. Over the last couple of years. And
you're like an abusive girlfriend.
Yeah, well, here's talking about girlfriends. Think about this. It's like you're about to get married and go, you know what? God, I don't know if this relationship's going to work. I really like you, but let's get some motivation factor. I got a video of when I cheated on my ex-girlfriend. Let me show you. It's like the same thing. It's insane. Let me show you one of my worst moments of my life. Here's me under a bridge with a needle in my arm. I'm a different guy now, baby. Like, come on, let's get together. It's absolutely batshit crazy. It really is.
And they couldn't, with the 27-time world champion, more championships than any other organization in the United States, and they focused on our worst ever moment.
Yeah.
They couldn't have thought about coming back from 2-0 down against Oakland. They couldn't have thought about, or how about when Joe Torre in the 1996 World Series says we're going to lose the first 2 and then we're going to win the next 4.
Yep. You couldn't just get a hype video from YouTube and go, hey, guys, watch this.
Exactly.
But it's even worse.
We weren't even freaking fancied against the Braves, and we went and beat their asses. And that's what I'm saying. Jesus.
Well, here's the problem again when it comes to the Yankees. See, I would have, if I'm having to interview with Aaron Boone, I would say, hey, Aaron, let me ask you a question. You never thought of just motivating the team yourself? You never thought of just saying this simply, guys, hey, I want to have a quick, everybody sit down, listen up. We're 3 games down. You guys are ball players. I was a former ball player. We know what we have to do. So here's what you do today. You're the boxer with the big punch. You're getting the beating. We're up against the wall. We have nothing to lose besides losing. That's it. We go home if we lose. Grab your balls and win today. Win tomorrow. Win the next day. Then go to the World Series. It's that simple. But to simply sit there and be like, I can't even talk to my guys and motivate them. You don't have to be vulgar. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to beat them up. It's as simple as, guys, you're all gamers. You know what we have to do. There's no not busting it down the line today. There's no sad faces. There's no we're out. I want to see from the first pitch of that game, you guys don't stop. Everybody up. Nobody sits on this bench today. Nobody. It's that simple. But the Yankees, every time they're about to be eliminated, they're at a funeral. I saw that game. When they came back and tied the game, you saw the bench. They were like, time to go home, guys. Hey, where are you vacationing this month? It was over. It was over.
No, that's right. One of the best lines I've heard from the manager was Terry Collins. You hit or you sit.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's really every manager should be in their office.
Hey, but Donaldson had amazing at bats. Don't worry about it. He was great.
Oh God.
What a bit.
We don't know.
That's an interesting debate. So Pete, obviously, you would say that the first thing you would do is remove Cashman from his job rather than Aaron Boone. Tats, are you in agreement with Pete, or would you?
Absolutely. I think Cashman's time is overdue. I really do. And it's not that he's done such a terrible job that we've set this organization so far back. Like you said, like Pete, like you said, we're only a player or 2 away from really recapturing the magic of the Yankees. We really are. But at the same time, you moved on from Girardi because his time expired. It was just time for a new voice.
Yep.
We need that new voice in the front office, even further up the front office right now. And I'm sorry, Cash, one championship in 13 years. That's not telling me that you know what you're doing.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. He said he won it in 2017, so he gets that one too.
That was a good one.
We won the World Series.
Oh, that's for an excuse. Oh, we actually really won in 2017.
Yeah,
Even though we
that
did,
was
I
the
say we
best.
did. So
I mean, I would have looked at him like I would have said, "Are you stupid? What? How long have you been in this job? And that's an actual thing you would say?
his
What is wrong
excuses
with
are
you?
fucking. His excuses
told
are
somebody.
phenomenal, man.
I told somebody, as a poor George Steinbrenner, man, he's like at the core of the earth right now. How many times he's been rolling in his grave? He's dug right through. That poor man is sitting at the core of the earth right now.
He's arguing with St. Peter. Let me back down there. Let me back.
Yeah, I'm telling you, let me pass these gates and go back down there, please. Let me just kick a few trash cans and break some TVs over these guys' heads. That's ridiculous, man. It's tough to watch. It really is. The excuses are bad. I'm almost like, let me just get to the games already. Like I can't listen to you guys no more.
His excuses were just phenomenal.
Actually,
the Josh Donaldson excuse was great.
I know we want to get into some of the players of who we keep and who we, but I have a question for you, Pete.
Yeah.
Now, NYY News, you did your game live season.
Yeah.
And I was able to catch a few of them from work, and they're phenomenal. I think you do a great job with it.
Thank you.
But my question to you, as now somebody that's spent a year calling games, what was your favorite call of the season?
Oh wow. I would say I'll be honest, I think there's two of them that pop out. One, of course, is Judge's 60-second home run. I think that's definitely 61 and 62 were pretty cool to do. And then the Donaldson walk-off home run, the what was it, the Grand Slam, right? The Grand Slam walk-off home run. Because who the hell expected that to happen? No. So it's like one of those moments where he hits it down the line. Like, oh my God, he did it. It's like the emotions just take over. But those were definitely my favorite. And then, to be honest with you, the most nervous I was, which is kind of shocking because I'll be honest with you, I never really have nerves at all when I do any type of video, was game one of the ALDS, actually. Just setting that up. And I remember coming into it, like, all right, I got to get my nerves out. So I just went into like a nut job hype video in myself of like just going at it. I was like, all right, now I'm calm. I was like, now I'm good to go. But it's a new experience of calling games. I think I called over 150 games, including the postseason, from start to finish. When I start a game, I don't back out of it. It could be the worst game in the world. I'm not gonna go, hey, I gotta go mow my lawn. It's the fifth inning. No, I'm here to do a real job. And again, it's entertainment. It's fun. It's exciting. It brings something different. And man, next year, I can't imagine what Game Season Live is going to be doing.
My favorite call of yours is when Judge, I think, hit 61, and then Stanton hit that home run, the walk off.
Yep,
I watched that with watched the Game Season in the loft.
I finally got my voice back. Like my voice is just about fully back now.
No, there were a few at bats beforehand through Judge. I don't know if it was that game or the game before when we were still waiting. And MLB, the channel kept crashing on you. And you got to keep refreshing. And you were losing your absolute mind.
I was so pissed, man.
I was just waiting for Pete to go, you know what? Fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah, what I was waiting for is like I refresh it, and he's rounding the bases. I'm like, oh my God, that would be my nightmare. Because it's funny because, I was explaining this to my team. I'm like, can we do a game? I'm like, look, here's the thing about the games. Like, I've called all these games. I need to get that 62 call. Like, think about it. Like, that's something we're going to play again down the line in the future.
Phenomenal moment for your brand.
Yeah. So I'm like, I want to be able to know that that's something that I did. And, it's a big moment for the company. It's a big moment for the Yankees. It's something we're going to look back on. And the cool thing is, like, we matched up the call with the home run. And next year, we already got a plan basically where we'll be going to put highlights out basically immediately of the games, but with my call. So it's cool. It's an exciting time, man. It's fun to see where all this stuff is going to lead to. But man, calling games is a fun thing. I would say it's not for everybody. I learned that very quickly.
No, I wouldn't be able to do it.
I got a different opinion of Michael Kay. I disagree with Michael Kay's opinions on things, and I'm going to see him in December. I'm going to tell him flat out just like that. I disagree with some of your opinions on things, but I tell you what, man, I got a whole nother level of respect for you when it comes to calling games.
You're seeing him in
Not
December?
easy.
What's the event?
The Italian American Baseball Foundation. He's going to be getting an award there. So,
cool.
I know
be
that was
there
a
in
big
Brooklyn.
event last year.
Yeah, I'll be there in Brooklyn.
You were there with Vitali.
Well, thankfully, they actually ran out of tickets and they were sold out. I was like, oh man, I'm not going to go. And one of the heads called me and said, hey, Pete, we want you here. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I want to be there. Sign me up.
That's
so
beautiful.
They were able, actually, just like last week, they were able to get me in. I had no expectation of going, and they called me. It's like, hey, we can fit you with 2 more, and all right, cool, let's do it.
No, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. So let's get into more excuses from Cashman here. First of all, the Phillies were in the World Series and they were the least qualified in the postseason tournament. Once you're in, anybody can get there. So once again, excuses. There's nothing wrong with our process in any way, shape, or form. It was strong. It was crazy shit that stopped us. Injuries. Unbelievable.
Can I comment on that one real quick too about the Phillies? How dare he? Can I just say that? Yep. How dare he? How dare you sit there and say the Phillies weren't a good team? Bro, they got further than you and your gigantic payroll. They got the right field that you should have.
They had the manager we should have had.
Exactly. Was Wheeler a good signing? Maybe their GM's doing a good job there, Brian. How about that? How about they're a better club than the Yankees?
Or maybe hiring Rob Thompson was actually a pretty good freaking idea.
Well, yeah, and how about this? How about maybe their process led them further than your process led you? How about that for an answer?
Rob Thompson said, the way I'm approaching the pro season is if we've got a chance to win, I am going for it. I'm going to use my best pitchers that I possibly can to try and win a game. What was Aaron Boone's philosophy? Oh, well, we're kind of planning over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
In an elimination game.
We got games next month that we have to play, and I forgot about. But Rob Thompson I gotta do a little rebuttal a little bit. Rob Thompson taking out Wheeler was the end of the Phillies. I said it on my live. I called all the World Series games. The minute he pulled Wheeler with 70 pitches, I went to Alvarado. I said it. I said this game and series is over. He literally just handed this series to the Astros, and he did what Aaron Boone would have done. Boone would have did the same thing. Boone did it with Garrett Cole. He came out and flat out said, well, Cole, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you're not our best pitcher. You're not the best guy.
Almost like with Tampa.
Same thing with Tampa and Snell. Yeah.
When they took Wheeler out of that took the wind out of the sails for the whole team.
You can see their faces. Yeah. And once the home run was given, they all looked. They were like, "Oh, yep, that's it. Houston, you won. You won. It's over."
Because you give Houston that window, they're going to take it.
They're a good team.
And there's no turning back.
People want to shit on the Astros. I'm not one of those fans. I'm sorry. I'm not.
No, me neither.
I'm not one of those fans.
I'm done with criticizing.
And Donald and Tats, you guys obviously we all seen the dynasty. It's the same thing when the Yankees are great. Remember? Yeah. Everybody hated them. Why do you hate the Yankees for? Oh well,
all the time.
No, you hate them because they win. Yeah. A lot of these younger fans who haven't had that experience.
It's jealousy.
It's jealousy. Yeah, they're mad that Houston is doing it. We're not, and we're expected to, but we don't.
The other day on our show, I had full Yankee gear on, and I went off. Yeah. And even Donald was like, "You got a little too much." But when you put the baseball hat on, and you're just observing from a fan point of view, what Houston's been able to do, you really can't argue against it. No. There really is no argument.
Look at they develop their players, and they're here. Yes. Look at them. I mean, another thing they do that's so smart that Brian Cashman is quoted of refusing to do this. They lock guys up young. They lock them up young, though. They don't wait till they're a free agent and go, all right, now we got to battle you. Let's do it. Let's see who we getting in war with. Well, maybe, again, I've repeated this 100 million times. I'm going to repeat it again. Maybe when you put that whole thing out there in right field, maybe that should have came with a contract for Judge. Who would have signed it then, by the way? You could have gave him $17 million a season, $20 million. He would have signed it.
Of course.
But no, you wanted to act like what you did with Derek Jeter, that, hey, I'm in charge, not you. Because Brian Cashman probably he must have been one of these guys that, never could speak for himself or, really feel like I could speak up. He got a little bit of power, and look at what he's doing. Aaron Judge, no, you're going to wait until you're a free agent. We're going to wait. And guess what? I'm going to announce that we offered you a big deal, so the fans are mad at you and not me. Brian, you're a weasel. You're a weasel. I hope he's at that dinner on the 1st because I'm going to call him a weasel.
Please do. Because he told Jeter to go fish. He says, this is my offer. If you don't like my offer, you can go fish. To Derek freaking Jeter, after Jeter sat down and said, please don't make my negotiations public. I don't want to go anywhere. Have some respect for me. What did Brian Cashman do? The exact opposite.
Let me tell you what. If you have a different opinion than me, that's okay. Like people go, oh, you're probably going to want to, if you see Boone there, you're going to yell at Boone. No, I'm going to tell Boone, I disagree with the way he managed. I have nothing against Aaron Boone. Same thing with Kay. But one thing I don't like is a friggin' weasel. I can't stand a weasel. There's nothing worse in the world than a snake and a weasel, and that is Brian Cashman.
No, and if you had that opportunity, that brought me back to Chris's comment for a little while ago. As us content creators will have more and more influence, especially because most of us agree this team is BS and things need to change. And Chris is spot on.
Yeah,
they are the reason why Aaron Judge is not tied down right now. It's Brian Cashman's fault. Entirely his fault. He had years to sign him at a team-friendly deal for a long term, and he didn't do it, right?
Bro,
because
when Aaron Judge,
we don't do the negotiations mid-season. We don't. This is the Yankee way, is you wait till the end of their contract, their arbitration. That is complete nonsense because they're obsessed with the bottom line right now.
It's old school. It's done. That's the problem. That's why I keep saying he's wore out his welcome. That is done. That's an old mindset. The new mindset is youth. You see the Astros do it. You see the Braves do it. You're good. We expect you to be good. Guess what? We want you on this team for 7, 8, 9 years. Then when we get a guy like a Matt Olson, he's already established, but he blends in perfectly with the guys that we had. So if we got to give an Olson more money than we would have given one of our younger guys, but guess what? Down the line, none of you are expensive.
Exactly.
And it makes sense. But the Yankees are the minute Aaron Judge had 52 home runs and they put the whole thing in right field, he should have been re-signed long-term. Who would have been mad at that? What Yankee fan would have sat there and said, that is a bad move?
Yeah.
That's bad.
Why are we not trying down Aaron Hicks? God damn it. Which fan base is going to do that?
Aaron Hicks. I mean, it's absolute insanity. You could point at hundreds of things of why Brian Cashman should be gone, but you can do that all day.
He should have been fired for this last offseason. Yeah, the IKF Donaldson trade is the worst trade in his entire tenure. Easily. I've never actually seen a worse trade. That was awful.
And I've never seen a trade
especially
so
when you think about the
Minnesota.
Team. Sorry to interrupt. Especially when you think about the fact that he willingly helped the Twins to go and take the player that you should have freaking had.
Exactly.
So that was the double-barreled disaster. And then you take on $25 million of a 36-year-old, and it wasn't at gunpoint. And you didn't even attach assets to it. It was just no, we actually want to take on $25 million per year of a 36-year-old. Ridiculous.
It's exactly what Italians call the good old Chiguanda Ching. It's a 55, a slap back and forth to the face. That's exactly what it was and what he did to the fan base. Because I mean, I remember, of course, you're gonna have your fans who are overly optimistic and we got the IKF's the next Derek Jeter's and hit 300. He's this, he's that. And then you got the fans who recognize it on the surface and go, hey guys, hold on a second. Wait. We just took $50 million from Josh Donaldson. Got IKF when there's all these other guys out there. Wait, something's wrong here. Hold on a second. This doesn't add up. And then you see it unfold and you're like, whoa, there's no way you should keep your job after this one. Matter of fact, it's so bad, Cashman should have walked away himself.
Yes. It got to that point. Donald will attest to this one. As soon as that deal came out, we did our show the next morning. I lit off the show going, please tell me there's something else coming. This can't be it.
Yeah.
This has to be the stepping stone to the big move.
I was really
and we never got it. And it was so freaking frustrating. Yeah. Because that money could have gotten you maybe you give a little extra to Verlander to steal him from Houston.
Yeah. What the Yankees will end up doing. Here's what the Yankees do. They'll end up getting a guy like Verlander now, and he'll shit the bed with the Yankees. Or they'll end up getting what's his name? The guy the outfielder that's a free agent this year was with Houston for years. Great contact. Always injured. Oh, my God. I forgot his name. How did I forget his name?
From where? From who?
From the Houston Astros. We were going to sign him, but Houston ended up signing him. He always hits the ball in play. Great
Oh,
contact.
please.
Oh, Bradley.
Who is it?
Is it Bradley?
Yes. But that's a guy that the Yankees will end up looking to try to get now, and it's far too late. It's like you're going to get him now, and he'll be terrible. So, yeah, Brantley. So, I mean.
Yeah, Adam was on it.
I think we all universally called the fact that Cashman undercutting Aaron Judge and then being pissed off that he didn't sign it and then making it public in order to try and turn the fans against Aaron Judge and make Aaron Judge look greedy. Yep. We all knew that this was going to backfire. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, that's why I got mad when people were shitting on Judge. I said, hey, look, hold on a second. Wait a second. The guy is gambling on himself. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
He's gay. They could have signed him. They had all this time to sign him. So now you're mad because he's gambling on himself? Nah, I'm not. Yeah. I could never be upset with that.
I also thought it was a below average offer they gave him. If they're so obsessed with the bottom line and they're businessmen, that was a terrible business move, letting him attack free agency. And because now he's hit 62 home runs and he's going to have the whole West Coast competing to try and sign him. It's just terrible business. It really is.
And look, man, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the whole Aaron Judge free agency is, in a sense, that the Yankees and Judge cannot be on good grounds because anybody in their right mind would have took advantage to the exclusive time you have to negotiate with Judge and be like, hey, look, you want to be here? Let's get this done now. Forget anything else like that. But you know what Aaron Judge is doing? He's doing the smart thing. Aaron Judge is going to prove to the New York Yankees, and I've made this prediction a lot, and I'm going to make it again. He is going to prove to the Yankees that his value that he told them is actually his value.
Of course. And I wanted, 35, 36 AAV?
I think it's very possible that he'll stay with the Yankees, but I do believe that before Aaron Judge really locks into negotiations, he's going to expect to have conversations and numbers from the Giants, maybe the Padres, and that's going to be his way of negotiating. Hey, look.
Well, that is my next question to you. How do you see the Judge negotiations playing out?
I don't know how the hell he doesn't return to the Yankees, and I'm not looking at this as an Aaron Judge perspective. I'm looking at this as a Yankee perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know how in the world the Yankees don't retain him and then try to sell the fan base that this is a great club still.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you do that. And even if they went out there and goes, well, you know what, we're going to panic and give everything up for Ohtani, that would be a dumbass move, one.
No,
but I could see them trying
that. They're not moving from Ohtani. Not this.
Yeah, I could see them trying to do something like that, though, and trying to entice them in a big deal. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, I expect him to come back on the Yankees side, but if it's the Judge side and he's sitting out there saying, hey, I want the most money. If I want the most money, and we don't know if his wife wants to be in California. We don't know if he wants to be in California. We don't know none of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you this, if he does, he's going to have suitors for him. He's going to have a lot of money piled up of teams that are going to want him.
Well, that's what I made the statement the other day. I'm like, you hear on Twitter and other social media outlets how, the Yankees better be careful. This team is looking at him. That team is looking at him. Any team that doesn't look at him is doing their fan base a disservice.
Correct.
And the organization.
Of course.
He's one of the top. I would say he's in that top 5 of the best players in the game.
Easy.
He's number one.
I think that's I think he could be higher up the list, but I got to be a little fan of other players. But if you had the opportunity to give him a contract that you think is fair, what would you offer?
Oh God, I hate doing numbers.
I'll
tell you this. No, I can do it. I'll do it.
Right.
I'll do it. I think at the end of the day, you just gotta top Garrett Cole's contract. You just gotta top there. You gotta top that AAV. You can't get Aaron Judge must be the highest paid player of your team, not Garrett Cole. I'm sorry.
What I would do is my contract would be, and I've been on other shows and I've put this in their comments and I've been on that. I would give 8 years, $320 million. That's $40 million a year. And then the way the Yankees sweeten the pot away from the other suitors is you add in milestone incentives like they did for A-Rod.
Mm.
And if that doesn't do it, then you offer him the captain's title.
Yeah, I think you at this point, honestly, if he comes back, I think he has to be the captain.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to see that, I think that has to be put out there, especially when you got Yankee
The marketing
players kind of saying it
perspective
already.
with the captain's title, because now you're
Money.
going to sell. You're going to, you know,
Yeah.
that's going to the marketing alone with bringing Judge back pays for his contract itself.
Hell yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's not even that's ticket sales, concession. You know,
Well, that's why
TV deals.
That's one of the main reasons why I hate talking about what are they going to give him, because at the end of the day, the Yankees are going to make all their money back. He's one of the most profitable player in baseball. It's not even close.
That's why I thought that the offer was substandard in the past offseason when you had exclusive negotiation rights. Why would you offer an AAV which is lower than like Carlos Correa, you name it, and I like dudes that he's much better than, and he was privately pissed off during the season, going, you know, I asked for 35 AAV. I'm worth more than such and such is getting paid that.
I mean, well, the other thing for us to spend their money rather than they do it.
Yeah.
But when you look at long term, all right, I'm going to invest. You know, it's like buying stock.
Yeah.
Judge is a stock that you want to buy right now. They should have bought into it 4 years ago.
He's hot right now. That's right.
You know, and they would have made even more money.
Yep.
No, they wanted to play cheap, and now they're going to pay the price.
It's so funny. They're obsessed with the bottom line, but they actually make really bad business decisions.
Yeah. The crazy thing is you can also be very creative with its contract. So you can front load it. You know, you could add deferred payments throughout the rest of his a lot after his contract. There's a lot of ways the Yankees go about it where contracts are very strange like that nowadays. You know, where you can get very creative that you don't have to give them a ton of money up front or all this money up front and figure things out. But you just got to be in the room and figure those things out and say, hey, look, we value you. We want you to be the most paid player on this team. You deserve it. And we go from there. But I just feel that, Brian Cashman leading that charge, he's the wrong guy doing it. He's the wrong guy leading it.
He hasn't earned the right for another rebuild. Let's be honest.
No way.
He just has not earned that right.
No way.
But he's done more for this organization than Aaron Boone ever has.
Yeah, of course.
So I still, to be honest, if anything, I still think most of this goes down to Aaron Boone's substandard management, because Brian Cashman's team that he sent out, in fairness to him, in 2018, 2019 was ready for loaded for bear. But Aaron Boone completely mismanaged it in every postseason.
He did.
And that's why they've not made a World Series, mostly because of Aaron Boone, not because of the roster that Brian Cashman put together until these last 2 years where it's been a complete shit show.
Well, can I throw something back at you on that one?
Yeah.
Brian Cashman had exclusive rights on who to bring in as manager. And he brought Boone in.
Exactly. That is true. That is true.
I mean, and he had when I tell you he had exclusive rights, to the point that he had exclusive rights on who to pick as manager.
Of course.
And he chose Aaron Boone.
Power grab. He chose
at the end of the day, then it goes back again to who's Cashman's putting in place. Because here's how I see it: if Cashman leaves, another manager comes in. Another GM comes in. He might want his own manager. So Boone may be out either way. And a philosophy change might actually help Boone. Philosophy change could help him. Who knows? We don't know what happens behind the scenes. But
I would have given it to Rob Thompson 100%. Right, Pete, you are the general manager. Off-season moves.
It's going to be a good
Here we
team.
go. You do it. Off-season moves.
Off-season moves. Okay, yeah, this is. There's a couple of different things that the Yankees can do. I think if you go around the diamond, you look at catcher. Is Trevino your catcher? You want a Gold Glove? I don't think the Yankees move on from him, but give me a better backup catcher. Maybe Rortvet's that guy finally. I don't know.
He doesn't
an option
exist.
out there. Yeah, who the hell is he? Who knows? You look at that. First base, I think Rizzo's fine. I'll just give a little spoiler alert out there for everybody. Next year, Murakami is going to be posted, and I fully expect the Yankees to go batshit crazy over Murakami. They already are scouting him like mad. They want him. He had 58 home runs. He's an absolute animal. Okay. And Murakami wants to come to America. He doesn't want to wait until he's 25 and be a free agent. He wants to come to America immediately, take the less money, and become he wants to be the all-time home run king in America.
Holy crap.
So he has great goals.
Very high expectations.
He has very high expectations. And I mean, the guy had a 761 slugging percentage.
But at that point, just a quick comment on that.
Yeah.
Would that put any fear into you as a GM that he would just be pressing too hard, where he would just be that three true outcome?
No, because if I'm looking at it as a GM, I'm looking at it's going to be media attention again the way it was with Tanaka. and you're gonna make a boat ton of a shit ton of money. And on top of that, if we look at results and we go, well, Murakami's doing this in Nippon, okay, cool. We kind of consider that AAA. Well, you find me the AAA player at 58 home runs at a 761 slugging percentage, and I'll be shocked if he's not in the major leagues right now. So I look at it
unless
as
it was
a
the
no
Yankees,
miss.
then they would wait for a service time.
If he was with the Yankees, he'd be in single A still. He'd be still in single A doing something. Second base, Gleyber Torres goes. There's no way in the world Gleyber Torres is back. I trade him. I package him together for a deal, maybe a starting pitcher.
Do they call Miami back?
How about the guy from the Marlins?
So. I think they will. I think that's something they'll look at. I would be all over a guy like Rogers instead of Lopez, but
okay.
Well, I don't know. You know, I hate getting into what does the trade look like. I don't know. But I would definitely do something like that. Shortstop again, no IKF. Third base, no Josh Donaldson. I'm sorry, you move on from all those. And I know Brian Ketch can't say right now we're gonna get rid of him. You got to hope he has some sort of value. You could market him as his values. His glove will pay some of his contract. He might still be able to pop 20 homers. Who knows? But that's the way I go about doing that move. Left field, I look to bring Benintendi back, but I am concerned with Benintendi. I saw some people quoting, Benintendi's probably going to get like what, 9-10 million a year. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
Nah.
Benintendi's going to get close to 14, 15, 16 million a season. And I don't know if the Yankees are willing to do that.
Aaron Boone didn't put him in the best position to succeed because he was batting him 6th and 7th.
Exactly. So is it even worth it? Is it even worth it at this point then?
Well, no, I actually would use the argument of we saw what Cabrera was able to do and how he held his own in left field.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. I'm going to get to it.
He did have good defensive range.
Yeah.
You know, he is one of the young guys that's under control.
Yep.
You want to invest all your money into, you're looking to save money to pay Judge. Cabrera is your way to do that.
Yeah. So when I look at that and I look at left field, you got one guy that the Yankees may have interest in, but I don't know how big that interest is going to be, is Yoshida, another guy that's going to be coming from Japan, who he's 5'8". He's not a good outfielder. He hits the ball like crazy. He bats 325 every year, 330. Not great power, 10, 15, 20 homers tops. My concern with him is he has a very long swing, and that's not going to necessarily play against guys throwing 98 miles an hour, 99, 95 and up all the time. You know, a lot of those leagues, a lot of it is your fork balls, your sliders, splitters, changeups. You're not necessarily seeing many guys topping at 99. They got a young kid that's 20, Sasaki, who's probably the best pitcher in the world at his age. Threw a perfect game already, throws 99. He's phenomenal. Yankees will probably be all over him too eventually. But Yoshida, they got out there in left field. I also think you got to look at Arizona. Arizona got loads of left-handed hitting outfielders, and they want to get rid of a few of them. If the Yankees can make a deal over there, maybe a Gleyber Torres, you just do a swap of players. There's a few names over there. I don't think Cody Carroll's a guy they would get rid of, who's one of their top prospects. No. Alec Thomas is another guy I don't think they would get rid of. I don't think they would get rid of Dalton Varsho, but if he's available, you do whatever it takes to get Dalton Varsho on the Yankees. And you try to make that move. There's a few other guys. Beer is one of them who's a pretty hefty hitting outfielder. That's an option. Bader's in center field, of course, and you bring Aaron Judge back, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think.
Is there any? Sorry, Chubb. Sorry, Tess. What were you saying?
I think an outfield of Cabrera, Bader, and Judge, I think that's as good as a defensive outfield of what we have right now. I don't see where you can really over critique it.
Here's my concern with that. If you limit Cabrera to just the outfield and you make him the starting left fielder, to me, you completely deteriorate his value. And I don't think you'd want to do that necessarily. My value for him is in that role of where he plays every day, but he could pick up a different glove every day.
Okay.
So that's the way I see it with him. So if you brought in a Benintendi, if you brought in a trade of a guy that you go, you know what, I think he'll do well here. He can bat above 250, puts the ball in play. He's a contact guy. You get something like that in left field, then you go, you know what, hey, Cabrera could play all those infield positions that are open, including the outfield. So you leave him there. Then you look at your infield and you go, guys, you know what? Hey, look, I am not willing to give anybody a starting position. That's why IKF is still here. But we're going to have a little favoritism towards the young guys, to Volpe, to Peraza, again, Cabrera in the infield. If you don't bring back Anthony Rizzo, if you do bring Anthony Rizzo back, he's at first base. DJ LeMahieu could be your second baseman or your third baseman. You could leave him at third base, and you could go, he looked very, very good at third base last year. He looked terrific. So if you leave him at third base and you go, all right, up the middle, we got Peraza and Volpe at second. When they need a spell, when DJ needs a spell, he's going to need it because now we got to keep him healthy. Outfielders need a spell. That's a great spot to have Cabrera in. He could play second today. He could play short. He could play third.
No, I completely agree, especially with the way that they love to rotate and rest guys on a daily basis. He's going to get everyday at-bats.
And with Stanton really just being a DH now, which is not good for the Yankees. But if he's going to be that guy, then you leave him. He gets his DH spots. He's rested days. Maybe LeMahieu could DH some days, and playing third base could be Cabrera. That's called roster flexibility. That's what you need.
Of course. Is there anyone in free agency who you think the Yankees would be interested in, apart from re-signing dudes like Benintendi, Rizzo? Is there anyone in the free agent market who you think that the Yankees could have interest in?
Besides the guys that we know, I'll be honest. I'd be all over Rodon. But they're not going to get in a bidding war for Rodon. And the Giants and the Rangers are already talking to him. The Rangers want him bad. They want him quick. So the Rangers are going to be all over Rodon big time. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's one of the first signings to a major deal. The Rangers got money. And now they got Bruce Bochy. They got Leiter coming up. They got good young kids coming up.
Yeah.
That team is going to put a shit ton of money back into that team again.
I think the Rangers are... the fact that they're bringing Bochy, I think that really increases the attractiveness of that organization.
Hell yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, of course. I'd go there. I'd want to play for them.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. If you're a guy and you're going, all right, let's sit down. What are you guys talking to me about? Well, one, we can meet your contract needs. One. Two, we got a great system. And we got really guys that are really, really close. We're going to be very aggressive with them. Three, you've seen how good our deals worked out last year. A lot of them worked out very well. And four, we got Bruce Bochy. We didn't get Bruce Bochy to lose. We got Bruce Bochy to win right now. We're not saying, hey, a couple of years. We want to compete at this moment right now. And guess what? We got the prospects and we got the bank to do it. So when are we starting?
Where do you see Seattle fitting in with that division? With the way that the way Houston's sitting, the Rangers are getting ready to be very aggressive.
A ton of money.
Yeah.
Did the Mariners go, well, we were so close. You know what? Let's just pull the trigger and just get it done.
Potentially. I can see them looking to add another bat, but I think their big signing again was Castillo. I think that was their major move. One thing they do get creative with, they get creative with trades. They usually get creative on a trade front. So they do a good job with that, but I could see them looking to add a bat potentially. I don't know who that would be, but I could definitely see them adding a bat. Going back to left field with Benintendi.
Yeah.
This might actually be an exclusive. I think I just told my team this. I haven't even put this on my page yet. Look out for the Minnesota Twins. They're pursuing him extremely hard. They want Andrew Benintendi very, very much.
Right. Okay.
So that could be something that's
what would our alternative be if you moved on?
I think again you got to look at the trade front. Arizona's looking to trade. Again, they got six left-handed bats basically in the outfield, and all of them are halfway decent. I don't know if you could pry one of their young guys like an Alec Thomas, who struggled at the major league level, but I don't think Yankee fans would be upset if you go out there and you add Alec Thomas and you go, look, he has everything we're looking for. We're taking a gamble a little bit because he's young, but he's a prospect. So it's the same.
Here's my problem. Here's my worry about that, though, man. It's just we develop really well until we reach major league level, but because we don't have any proper coaches at major league level, that includes Aaron Boone. They don't really have a good development system once they reach major league level. And I read an article by Kevin Kernan where he backed that up. That basically all the baseball people have been removed from the major league levels, all analytic based.
That's true. 100%.
The baseball people are in the minor league system. Yep. They've done a very good job cultivating it. It's once they reach the majors, that's when shit hits the fan. And that's why you've seen Gleyber Torres not reach the top level that he was supposed to. That's why you've seen Clint Frazier just become an anonymous. That's why you're seeing these dudes, and that's the problem.
Here's my thing with some of those guys. And not a rebuttal of what you're saying, but then you gotta decide on what you do. Then you gotta say, hey, well, do we trade Volpe? Do we trade Peraza? Do we trade those guys now then instead of giving them a position? Because if we can't rely on that, here's the other thing there. Gleyber Torres, to me, when I seen Gleyber Torres, even when he was good, I still didn't see a ball player. I just still didn't see I didn't see a gamer when I watched him.
Exactly. He's not a high IQ baseball player. He's not.
Clint Frazier's a prima donna. This guy's a diva. He had no business being a Yankee at all. So when I see those guys, I see guys that maybe they were never meant to make it. They were never going to reach the potential because they didn't see it. So at the end of the day, but when I see a Volpe and I hear about him, here's the thing I'll warn. Don't expect Volpe to be this great all-star. That's it. Don't expect him to be the best shortstop in baseball immediately or the best second baseman. That's the problem, is that we and the Yankees do it. It's not the fans. The Yankees put such an elite expectation on their players that if they come up and Anthony Volpe's a 245, 250 guy, he hits 20 homers a year, 25. A lot of people are going to see that as, damn, man, that's a bust. I mean, we expected this guy to be a 320 hitter. He's not.
I like this comment by Chris the Flash. No things will happen. How would you feel about trading for Reynolds and their closer? I mean, I really like that idea. I know we've got Bader.
I don't see the Pirates giving up on that.
Yeah. Well, everybody thinks the Pirates are losers, and they've been for a while, but they got such a dynamic coming up that they got him until 2025. They have no real value to deal him.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, if they're not a contender by 2025 or a much better team, they got problems because they got so much from AA and AAA that should really be halfway decent that they're at least competing for a wild card by that time.
So we've got the top 8 MLB.com free agents, right? So let's go through them and your predictions as to where they go. All right. Number 1, Aaron Judge.
I still got to say the Yankees.
Yeah.
Tats?
It's got to be the Yankees.
It's kind of got to be the Yankees, but we have to watch out for the San Francisco Giants because
I'm not either the Yankees or the Giants in my opinion.
But if the Yankees don't get him, it's just a colossal failure. And
that's the way I see it. I don't see it as an Aaron Judge. I just see it for the Yankees in general.
Yeah.
How do you?
You can't come back from that.
What do you got to simply say, hey, we lost here. If they don't say that, everybody should shit on the Yankees. If they don't come out and go, guys, hey, we lost.
If they don't bring him back, they have to tear the whole thing down. Every single last piece they have to get rid of.
Or what you got to do, and again, this is when you have to have a smart GM. You got to say, all right, look, what do we do? We lost Judge, right? Okay. Well, what do we do to be competitive? If we're going to keep this process, we already got the young guys there. 1, they got to play, and we got to figure out they have to play. 2, we got to change the dynamic of our offense. We can't sit back and wait for a home run. So if you're adding Volpe, a Peraza, you already added a ton of speed. You got to add more contact and more contact and more contact and hope that your Donaldson, whoever you get at first base, and those guys can be enough power that you can still be a competitive team in a different way where you're stealing bases, putting the ball in play, running a lot.
Right.
But that's not too likely with this club to be with this current leadership.
No.
That's not a likely outcome.
No. So number 2, Jacob deGrom.
Jacob deGrom, I'm going to say the Mets. I think he goes back to the Mets.
Okay. Tats?
Well, I think if he doesn't go back to the Mets this week, I think now that they got Diaz off the table already, I think their next point of focus before anybody else, I think before that 15-day stretch is done, that's when they have to get the deal with deGrom done. They cannot let other teams get involved in the talks. Because just like Christian said, if he doesn't go to the Mets, I think the Braves are going to approach him very aggressively.
I can see the Braves too. That makes sense.
I could see him going out west. I think the Giants would be a really good place for him because they'll have money to spend. I don't think they're going to be able to get Aaron Judge. They'll go all in on Judge. I think Judge goes to the Yankees, and then they're going to pivot, and then they're going to make a big headline splash.
That makes sense. So I can see that.
I could see deGrom going out west. Okay, number 3, Trey Turner.
That's a good one, man. Trey Turner. I got Trey Turner possibly, I want to say 2 teams. I get it's hard to rule out the Dodgers, even though I think I think Correa is going to go to the Dodgers potentially.
Right.
Trey Turner, I think the Phillies are going to actually be a hard pursuit of him, and Yoshida's the other guy too. He actually wants to play for the Phillies, by the way, the left fielder.
Right.
He loves Bryce Harper, so he wants to play for the Phillies apparently. But I could see the Phillies potentially.
That's what Chris the Flash says.
Or maybe even the Rangers.
Yeah, I think the Rangers are I think that's one landing spot. I think Cleveland might be the other one. Not Cleveland, Minnesota.
I can see that.
I don't think
I can see that
because Correa is opting out, so I don't think that they're going to be able to get the money just right for him to sign again. So I think they'll pivot and they'll go after Turner.
I've seen the Cubs linked with him. And I've seen the Giants linked with him. I think the Giants would be an interesting spot.
But you're really all in on the Giants as being like really aggressive.
Well, they
got
are.
they got like 111 AAV to spend this year, so they got a lot of
they got a lot of money to spend. So number 4, Carlos Correa.
Like I said, I think the Dodgers are going to get him.
Yeah, he goes out west. I don't know whether it's going to be the
Turner's going to the Mets. Oh my God! If he goes to the Mets, Jesus,
that'd be pretty awesome. By the way,
I was thinking about the Mets actually because I think the Mets will make a headline move.
That would be a pretty awesome fit, I think, actually for the Mets. And my God, that would add to that dynamic of that lineup.
Yeah, you move him over to third with or do you leave him at short?
You probably move him. I'd probably move him off short.
So Correa, where would you say?
You could also, by the way, too, you could also put him at second base and Trey McNeil.
That's what I was thinking.
Awesome.
I think we're moving second.
Yeah.
So Correa, sorry.
Correa, I think I think it's going to be one of the LA teams. I think he goes out west. I think the three of them are going to be, between the Dodgers, San Francisco, and the Angels. I think they get a little aggressive on him.
I so badly want to say Correa to the Yankees, but it's never going to happen.
No.
I would love to see him as a Yankee, too.
Oh, my God, me too.
The Orioles have been linked heavily with Carlos Correa. So that's
they offered him. They offered him about almost $300 million last offseason.
Yeah. There's a possibility of the Orioles, now that they've proven themselves and actually made themselves a competitive team.
I would love that move, by the way. I mean, I as a baseball fan and a great fan base in that area, that would be an awesome move for the Baltimore Orioles if they can add Carlos Correa. You got Gunnar Henderson in that infield.
Rutschman on the
Mountcastle, Rutschman on the rise. They got a really good young team, man. That team could be trouble for years to come, man.
I think
number 5, Xander
Baltimore's going to be a sleeper team. I think they're going to be very aggressive.
No doubt.
Number 5, Xander Bogaerts.
He's the guy I have potentially going to the Mets. Is Xander Bogaerts.
Okay.
More than Trey Turner.
Ooh.
I would love him to be a Yankee again. He's kills us. I love Bogaerts. He's an awesome
we got IKF. Let's be fair here. Come on.
Yeah, we got the best shortstop in the game right now.
Come on,
in the world.
I don't know.
Chris the Flash says the Braves. The Braves make sense because we're going to get into Dansby Swanson in number 7.
Oh yeah, Dansby Swanson. I forgot. I think I know where he's going.
I mean, I think the Sox probably re-signed Bogaerts.
I think
I can see that too. Yeah.
I think the Sox actually. You know what? I think they'll even give him the qualifying if they haven't yet. I think that's where they'll go with him because the shortstops that are on the market right now, it's hard to. If they wanted to do him any service, they might wait, try to hold him off for one more year.
Yeah.
Before hitting the true free agent.
Number 6, Justin Verlander. I think he's going back to the Astros.
He's an Astro for life now.
I can't see him going anywhere but the Astros, yeah.
Yeah. We're in that one. Number 7, Dansby Swanson. This is a good one. If
I
the
go
Yankees
back to the
far,
I go to the Braves.
Back with the Braves.
I'd say the Braves.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a Georgia boy, man. That's just the perfect story. I mean, I don't think you let him leave.
I think the Dodgers.
I think that with him with the Braves, because of the PR nightmare with Freeman, I don't think they make the same mistake twice. I think they make sure that Swanson stays.
That's true. I could see the Dodgers though for some reason. especially if Trey Turner leaves. I could see Dansby Swanson being the big signing.
He had a hell of a year too, man. The guy's WAR is almost 6. I mean, you talk about a guy who could really revamp your team. I mean, be a
Hector thinks he's going to the Phillies. Damn, the Phillies are going to be a monster.
Well, according to MLB.com, they got Swanson at a 9.7 WAR.
He's just phenomenal. He's
I
terrifying.
don't know what I'm looking at.
So good.
Yeah, he's an absolute beast. He's an absolute.
I mean, I would love the Yankees to get in on that market. I mean,
they're not smart enough.
No,
I'm not going to stop.
Well, no, not only that, I think the Yankees are not going to be in for a shortstop because they've already invested their future into their minor league shortstops.
Yeah, and I think if the Yankees bring back Aaron Judge, I don't think they're going to do much after that at all. I think they make a couple of trades and that's it, and then they're going to run it back.
Yeah, it's going to be Judge in the trade market.
And they're different, and the difference is basically going to be, well, the young guy's going to play.
Yeah.
So that is a change, and it is a change.
And I'd be okay with that.
I'd be somewhat okay with it, but
at this point,
I need Judge and I need a number 2. I can't keep doing this Luis Severino stuff. I can't keep doing this. Let's hope Nestor Cortez does the same thing. I can't keep doing that. I want another big guy behind Garrett Cole.
And that leads us seamlessly to number 8, Carlos Rodon.
Yep.
Texas, the Rangers. I think it's almost a far done conclusion, to be honest.
Wow. Okay. Tats?
No, I think the Yankees are going to make a run, but I don't think that they're going to have in their minds, the Yankees' minds, they won't have the budget left for them.
Well, if they missed out on Judge, that's a good route to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you could miss out on it, let's just say you miss out on Aaron Judge and you go, all right, well, hey guys, we got Cole, Rodon, Severino, Nestor, and who the hell's there should be one more. Who am I missing? Well, whoever it is, whoever you put in there as your number 5 starter, that's an insane 1 through 4. That's a crazy 1 through 4. So if you could say, look, we got all that, we go out there, maybe you bring Benny back, you go to young guys, you make another big trade potentially. You could still have a different dynamic and go, we lost Judge, yeah, but look what we put together, and we think this team is a completely different dynamic. Still would suck and still would be a very bad PR look for them, but just having a little fun with different things you can do.
Now, so let's do a quick keep them and dump them before we go on for like 3 hours. There's so much to talk about. let's do a keep them and dump them very briefly. Let's start with Benintendi.
You got to keep them, in my opinion.
Okay,
Tess? If it's keep or dump, that's a keep.
Okay, Rizzo.
Keep.
Torres.
Dump.
Amen to that. DJ LeMahieu.
Keep.
I'm on board with that. Obviously, Aaron Judge, there's no question about that. What about Frankie Montas?
Dump.
Really? You don't think that these might be worth seeing over another year?
Frankie Montas is going to be a catastrophe with the Yankees. You go come back to this come back to this in the regular season. He's never the guy he was in Oakland. He will never be with the Yankees. Put it right now.
I actually agree. Yeah, I'm going to say.
I am as confident gets on that. He will never be what he was in Oakland with the New York Yankees. You can save this clip and put it out there later.
Luca agrees. I don't want.
You know what? I'm going to agree on the I'm going to call it the Sonny Gray syndrome. We do not have luck with Oakland pitching.
Can I say what you would do to change him, but the Yankees won't? He needs to become a different pitcher. He needs to become a Severino. Hard fastball.
Yes, work off his fastball.
Hard fastball, big slot. He can't rely on. Let me put the ball in play. Let him hit the ball. No, he needs to be a dog. He needs to be a guy that gets the ball, flings it, decent changeup, big slider, and that's it. He needs to be a powerhouse. Can't be that guy that sits back and just put the ball in play.
Matt Blake has our pitchers do the opposite way around. He has them working off their off speed and their secondary pitches rather than their primary fastballs. And I never understood that.
It's a reversal of what baseball has been for hundreds of years.
I don't think that's Blake, though. I think that's the Yankees because we had the same issue with Rothschild. They were focusing too much on the off speed stuff. That's not Blake.
Yeah, that is true. That's again, that goes back to the philosophy.
He did that to the Big Maple. When the Big Maple just went, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm going to do my own thing. And then he ended up being pretty good.
He was good.
But at first, he was terrible because he was working off his secondary pitches instead of his dominant fastball.
yesterday when we started the show. But it was, when Pete was saying that, it was a tale of two seasons, and I think a lot of us have been saying that. In the first half of the season, Matt Blake was untouchable.
Yeah.
And the same as Boone. We were giving them a lot of credit because they were allowed to do what they wanted to do. They managed their own way until Cashman's like, oh, I want to get back involved. And then everything went to shit.
Yep.
So
people want to blame injuries, but it wasn't only injuries that collapsed the Yankees.
No.
It was a whole change of the way they played baseball for the first half.
It all goes back to ego.
Correct.
It was ego. So let's get into the ones. Aaron Hicks.
Dump.
Is there a to the moon option? Is there a rocket to the moon option for Aaron?
It's like
Hicks?
my great thing I say. There should be a cannon that comes out of home plate. Not home plate, the pitcher's mound in Yankee Stadium. You load him and Boone up it, and boom, you just shoot him out of it.
I would watch that. I would pay to watch that.
No, I wouldn't even give him the view. I'd put him right in the cesspool.
No, and like people go, oh, that's no, you put them like in a big old bubble that they're just gonna bounce on the street, and then you let them out and let them go. You just say, go ahead, get out of here. Yep. Go. You're done.
And on that note, IKF.
Dump
as well. Oh my God. Again, rocket to the moon. I would pay to watch that. Watch him being publicly flogged. I would watch that too. Josh Donaldson.
Dump.
Oh my God. I want him so
have
gone.
No roster by the time.
Exactly. I cannot stand him.
5 people on the field. 5 people on the roster by the time.
And they'll still.
I hated that trade at the time, and I've hated it almost worse and worse as the days have gone on. He's been that bad.
I'll tell you, man, the Yankees do some really, really questionable things. Put it that way.
But how sad is that like the 5 or 6 players that will actually keep can still outperform everybody we dumped?
Yeah, of course. One of them make up their value if you really think about it.
Big G, he's my guy. I love Big G.
Keep.
Absolutely love Big G.
I will. Can I say something about him though?
Of course.
Let's just be a little hypothetical here. What could maybe ever happen? I honestly feel like, though, if a team asked the Yankees and they went to G and say, hey, look, man, to make our team better, I know you got to approve this. Not necessarily, or whatever. We found a match. Would you be willing to go to this club? They're gonna help us out a lot on the contract, and it's gonna let us do a lot more things that we see as kind of holding us back from winning. If he said yeah, I would move him. And I know, and again, the reason I say it's a hypothetical is it's not going to happen.
No.
But if there was a situation where you can get out of that contract a little bit and you move on from him, I'd move him because he also clogs up that DH spot. So
I think the issue with the DH, all right, with Stanton, and I put a lot of thought, not a lot of thought, it's me, but I put thought into it. So, by the time that his contract is over, say they give Judge the 8 years, right? By the time Judge is in his 4th year, 50, Stanton's gone. So now you're able to slot Judge into more of a DH role.
Yeah, of course.
And save his body that way. So I that's why I don't see why everybody's on such a big rush to get rid of Stanton.
I think the
pairs up pretty well with the two of them on the same roster.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a thing about disliking Stanton. I think it's just a thing about he's much better if he's an outfielder. His value is way greater if he's an outfielder.
He said that since the day they signed him.
And to Boone's credit, which is kind of weird because you're the manager, so you would think you just put him out there. He's like, I think he's much healthier when he's an outfielder, and he'll be better if he's an outfielder. He said that in the press conference. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So why don't you do it? Why don't you figure out a way to make that happen, considering you're the manager? But
look at the way that he finished out 2021.
Yeah,
when he was playing a lot of outfield.
Yeah.
He was unstoppable.
Yeah,
he's a different hitter, man. He actually plays better when he's actively involved in the game rather than sitting on the pine and hitting for 4 at bats and then sitting back down again. He's much better when he's involved in the game. He's a much better player. So I agree. I'd keep him. Harrison Bader, no question.
Keep
all day. Okay, let's get into the starting rotation. Garrett Cole, he's my bro.
Dump his ass. Just kidding. No, keep him. I'm joking.
I was like, wait, what?
Nasty Nestor, the nastiest of Nestors.
Keep.
Okay, well, we already know Severino's been picked up, so that's not a question. We all know he's been kept. Okay, next one. Herman.
Dump.
I mean, Brian Cashman's already mentioned him as the 5th starter. What about Clark Schmidt?
Keep
for me.
Keep him in a good role though. Like put him in a role where he could be successful at, like starting pitching. And if you're gonna make him a relief pitcher, yeah, I agree. If you're not gonna look to keep him as a spot starter or a guy that could come up and start, as long as he's starting, you can hold on to him. But other than that, nah, you move on.
All right. Before we continue with the outfield, actually, Hector's got a good comment here. I got an idea. Let Big G play right field, and we play Judge in center. Why not try him in the left field?
It's a little different dynamic. The angles of the ball coming off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of a change, especially if you're going to lock him up long term. I don't know if that's something you want to delve into immediately.
Don't mess with that. No, he's already perfect at what position he already plays.
I think to Hector's point, and where he's onto something is Judge was originally a center fielder.
Yeah.
And he adapted to right, and we saw how well he was able to play center field.
Yeah, he could probably adapt to left.
I think the discussion is worth having. I just don't see how it really plays out roster-wise.
Right.
Okay, next one. Clay Holmes' butt as a closer.
Dump. I
don't. He's a closer.
Yeah, he should not be a closer.
Duper dump.
It ruined his season. It ruined his season getting all those regular closing spots. Mm-hmm. He's not cut for it.
Nope. He's not. I completely agree with that.
They'll put him there again this year, though. He'll be the closer this year.
Oh my God.
Because
that's terrible. Trevino.
Keep
him too.
Lose my guy.
The only reason why I bring that up is because there's other catchers on the market like Wilson Contreras and stuff like that. You wouldn't go.
Oh, you meant Jose? You meant Jose or okay? Yeah, you keep him.
Yeah, him keep
him too.
I keep both of the Trevinos.
Me too. I keep both Trevinos definitely.
I'm good with both Trevinos. Well, yeah, I think that's okay. The next question I have for you is: what priorities do you have for the offseason after Aaron Judge? Hopefully locked down.
My whole thing is to I would say for me personally, it's starting pitching. I want to figure out a way to get another big starter on this club.
Okay.
And I think the big thing, get rid of these salaries. You got to figure out a way to become creative.
Need a salary dump.
You got to move on from Aaron Hicks. You got to move on from Gleyber Torres. You got to move on from Josh Donaldson. You even could play around and, like I said before, move on for Frankie Montas. Let these guys go. Now, Brian Cashman's never going to do that because he's going to admit he failed. I gave up Waldichuk and Sears for Lou Trevino. That's it. Well, sometimes you got to admit you're wrong. Sometimes you lose. It's a gamble. It's still a gamble.
But, if you're able to get a solid arm in a bullpen that was, decimated by injury, and he was one of the guys that helped you get through it, you take the wins where you can.
You guys want to hear something even worse?
Oh boy!
So last offseason, do you know that the Yankees had a trade lined up that involved Joey Gallo going to Seattle for Logan Gilbert?
Get the hell out of here! I believe you, but that'd be my first reaction. Get the hell out of here.
Yep.
Now I have one question with the rotation. Do you make an offer for Tyone to come back?
No, I wouldn't personally.
Yeah, I let Tyone go.
Sure. I would move on.
I just wouldn't put money there.
I like Tyone.
Me too.
I think he's a solid pitcher. I think where you're onto something, Pete, is not so much that our starting pitchers in trouble. I just think that the flow of the rotation needs to be addressed.
Yeah. I think exactly. I think you just
need more structure.
You don't have that guarantee behind Garrett Cole in the sense of when it gets to a postseason series. People talk about, I love Severino. Severino's been terrible in the postseason. He's over a 5 ERA guy in the postseason.
Yeah.
I think he's good. Don't get me wrong. I like him, and he's a dog. He wants the ball, and I love that. But I want somebody else to slide in behind Garrett Cole.
I think at this stage in his career with Severino, he's a 2A, a 3, pitcher. We do need a solid 2 behind Cole. That's why I think Rondon would be a great addition to it.
I mean, you could argue, though, that Nasty Nestor could easily have as good a year as he did last year.
You can argue it, but would anybody be shocked if he had over a 4 ERA next year?
No.
I wouldn't.
To be fair, he's been phenomenal for the last 2 years now.
Just watching his stuff, though, it wouldn't shock me one bit if he had a bad year. Not saying he's going to. I expect him to be the same type of guy. But I wouldn't sit here and be like, holy crap, man, Nestor really let us down. I'm like, I kind of could see it. I kind of see it.
I think with him is because he mixes his deliveries. It means that his fastball and his other pitches actually play faster and they move more than the velocity actually stays. His velocities always stays 90, 91, but it actually plays about 3 or 4 miles an hour faster because of the movement, the way that he delivers it.
Yeah, he's extremely deceptive. I mean, that's literally what he works on. He works on being deceptive, and he does a great job at it. We'll see. We'll see what happens with him.
I mean, I think Montas is one where we traded for someone where he's hurt. He was clearly hurt when we brought him in, but he's got the stuff. I'm just really worried about his numbers when he's at Yankee Stadium and when he's not in a beautiful pitcher's park like it is in Oakland, which is like a giant freaking.
Well, most pitchers are going to be better in Oakland. I mean, you get so many extra outs, you get tons of extra outs, and you got a huge outfield. So either you're going to get knocked around there and get hit like crazy, or if you don't get hit like crazy,
even
and you're a fly ball.
It is outrageous.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So. You looked at his splits, and I remember when they traded for him, like, look, I think you almost have to go for him at this point when Castillo came off the board. I was like, I think you almost have to go for him at this point because you got to try to give your team the best chance to win. But when they got him, I remember saying, I'm like, I don't expect this guy to be what people think he's going to be. I mean, I know people go, oh, he's going to be an ace. Nah, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
My priority would be this offseason would to undo what the damage from the Donaldson IKF trade.
Oh
yes, no doubt.
And I think that's what screwed everything up. Mm-hmm. I think that set us back so badly. That would be my priorities is rearranging that side of the infield. Yep, I think you really need a legitimate shortstop, which I would use Peraza, and you need a third baseman, and that would fit LeMahieu.
Let's before we finish it off, how about we put together our infield alignment? How would you align this infield starting in May? Which infield alignment are you going to have?
Who are we bringing back? Do we know who we're bringing back or no?
Well, obviously with what we've already done with the keep them and dump them.
Okay, I'll say LeMahieu at third base, Rizzo at first base, Volpe at second base, Peraza at short.
That's exactly how I'd have it.
Yeah, I would have LeMahieu, Peraza, Volpe, and Rizzo.
And that still gives you your corners of your veterans who could keep the young guys in check. And
I think that's very important.
I think those guys up the middle would be absolutely phenomenal. And you got Bader up the middle. You got Trevino Cash. And you could literally sit there and start saying, hey, we're strong up the middle for once. We're really strong up the middle. I like it. And it adds a different dynamic, too. So that's a good thing.
Well, I think that also benefits Peraza and Volpe by having LeMahieu and Rizzo on the corners because you have that veteran right next to you to help you out.
And if I had my wish, as Donald was saying, it would be Correa at third base, Peraza, Volpe, Rizzo. That would be my wish. And
what positions can Volpe play outside shortstop?
Second base. There's an argument that he could play third.
I don't know
there's a little bit of an argument there about him playing third base, but I'll be honest with you, I feel like he's a little too small for that to play over there. Even though Bregman is, because one of the great comps is Bregman for Volpe. So potentially, maybe you can see that.
Question for you guys: would you trade Donaldson and Hicks plus 4 lore and a ball to rookie ball?
No.
Prospects to the rookies for Chris Bryant.
No.
Interesting.
At this stage in Bryant's career, I would have to turn that down.
No. Why am I giving up all those prospects for Chris Bryant for?
Yeah.
Even though I'm just getting rid of people act like it's like some miracle to get rid of Donaldson. The Red Sox got rid of like $180 million in contracts in one season. You can do it. It's not hard.
You just got to get a little creative.
You just got to be creative. That's it.
In hindsight, because the last time we talked was before the deal was done. That we talked on air.
That's right.
So, would you say it was worth the headache just to get rid of Sanchez? Because that's really what that move was about.
Only the Yankees can screw up getting rid of Sanchez. Literally, only the Yankees can do that.
He to take on a $6 million contract. If all you were going to get in return,
It was a ridiculous move. It was a bad move. The catcher we got that was supposed to be phenomenal, never caught, never did anything.
Nope.
Hit one something in AAA, I think. So I mean,
terrible.
At the end of the day, I mean, it was a horrible, horrible deal, and you got to undo it as fast as you can. But they won't.
But then Brian Cashman has actually said that Donaldson's our third baseman next year. Do you believe that?
He has to say that.
He's gonna have to say that. Yeah, that he can't.
You can't trust the guy and then try to trade him.
Exactly. You can't diminish his value. What you got to do is hype him up. But I do like Brian Cashman did it the right way. By the way, he was not the guy we thought he would be offensively.
No,
but he exceeded my expectations defensively, and you can make an argument that is correct. He was.
But
very
I think we all really felt that way.
Yeah, I agree too. So you're not diminishing his value because you go to any team and go, hey, look. You need a third baseman. Donaldson, I think he had a little issue playing in New York. We never made that public. He didn't make that public. But we kind of have that feeling. But he was phenomenal at third base for us. I mean, what if we gave you a double-A prospect, a high-A guy, and we agree on half the contract? 12.5. We save $12 million. You get $12 million.
Yeah, split 50.
Well, I hope so. But
why not?
We know that he's already doubled down on him and IKF. To the point where he's gaslighting us about him. I wouldn't be surprised just to prove us that that trade was fantastic, that he's going to stay at third base.
I would not be shocked one bit by it.
No.
I can almost guarantee it, to be honest.
No, and I think that the whole thing with the shift is just going to be an excuse.
Another excuse. Yeah, that's right. That's why I tell people, too, don't be too quick about Aaron Hicks getting traded because they can make these excuses. Well, he had a lot of hits robbed from him last year from the left side, so they could make that excuse easily and go, instead of
off to share it back then.
The internal numbers.
It was time to move on and move forward.
Well, my off-season priority is a closer.
He was one of my favorite
basemen. My priority is a closer. I think that absolutely is a priority.
I think that Diaz coming off the market so quick killed me because I was so hoping for him.
I want
him and Judge would have been my priorities in the show.
I don't spend money there. I don't spend money in the bullpen anymore. Yeah, I don't do that no more. I think the Yankees have enough options. I think they have enough options there, and you can also make a trade for a bullpen piece. I just hate the idea of all this 10, 15, 20 million, 18 million, 16 million to a relief pitcher. I mean, it's crazy. A relief pitcher can have a couple of bad outings and be terrible.
Think of the money we wasted on the tail end with Britton and Chap.
That's my thing. I can't make that mistake again. I can't commit to a guy 4 or 5 years to hope that he's a decent closer. I think you'll find one. I think Ron Marinaccio could be a good closer. I think Ron Marinaccio got phenomenal stuff. Do I say you jump him in that role? No. But you can find somebody.
I had said once before.
Efros and King, where would you put them?
King more than Efros. I never liked the idea of a loopy right-hander being a closer. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Nope.
It makes no sense at all.
I actually would. I really want to put. I would take a gamble on Loizaga. I think he has the stuff. I just think he needs a steady role. I think that's where he gets screwed up.
I just feel like the Yankees have enough arms that during a season, they're going to find a right guy to be in that role, and it's going to eventually work.
No, because then we're going to hear the same bullshit with this is his lane, that's his lane. Well, now we're going to change lanes because there's traffic.
You know what? You're going to have to, unfortunately.
Change lanes because it's traffic.
Unfortunately for this team, you're going to have to choose your bullshit, basically, because you're going to get it somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
I'd like us to sign Andrew Chafin. I really like him. The sheriff.
I like Chafin. I like him.
I like.
Yeah,
I think
but at the point, the money's got to be right.
Yeah,
I think we need a lefty.
I can't give a lot of money for a guy. And there's a lot of good arms out there that you could think of. Spores is a right-handed pitcher from Texas who had a down year last year, but I mean, he guys throws 98 plus, great movement.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of guys out there you could literally look at him and go, maybe we bring this guy on board and go from there. So
the Astros have about 6.
Yeah, they got about 12 guys, so they're good.
Yeah, so if we maybe made a trade for one of those guys, but no, I think this will pretty much wrap it up. Thank you so much, Pete. It's been a blast.
Man. Of course,
I hope you had a good time.
Can I? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna plug. I don't know if we're ready to plug.
No, go ahead.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Pete, I was wondering if you wanted to tell us about anything exciting that's happening with NYY News TV over the next few months.
Yeah, we have a couple of we have some new announcements coming out. We have a new podcast joining the crew. We have our first Hot Stove show tonight live at 8:00.
Great.
That's going to be extremely, extremely fun. I can't wait to do that. I got a whole little way of setting it up, how we're going to do it, but it's going to be fun. But yeah, we got a new podcast coming that'll premiere in December. We got Bad Dog Sports is going to be joining us for a couple of big things monthly. And yeah, we got some things set up with other content creators too to do some work together this year. But Game Season Live, of course, will be back next year, better than ever. Yeah, man, just a lot of fun stuff. And then we're working on some big things in the back end too that I can't announce until we actually have.
That's respected.
Have things
well, dude, I mean, remember we had you on just before NYY News TV kicked off, and it's been amazing how fast it's grown. It's just been amazing to watch.
10,000.
Wait, have we actually gone that long without getting together on a show?
Well, no, we actually had you on at one point when you were just about to start. It was, I remember that.
Yeah, first year, I'm over 10,000 subscribers. Well over 2 million views. I mean, it's been an absolute. It's been really, really fun, and even now, like in the off season, we're still putting videos out and getting loads and loads of subscribers from it. So next year, next year's a really big year for us. So I'm excited about it.
We'll be excited watching it.
There's also, I'm sure there's going to be some Yankee Stadium events like
of course
next year, and and we're
also too
excited to be a part of it.
I actually been speaking with Somerset AA team, and they're like, hey, have one of those events here. So I'm thinking of even pulling one of those events this year where, and the cool thing about they're not one, they're way cheaper than Yankee Stadium, and two, it's like they provide all the food you can eat. So like you eat and drink all you want while you're there. So I'm like, and
they need to plan this better, the whole eating thing better. Enjoy.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, at least if we can eat there, we don't got to worry about going outside anywhere there because I don't want to be honest. If we go outside anywhere this time, we'll head back to New York and go there and do it. So we'll do that, but we'll see.
P, is my bro RB going to be on the hot stove?
People think like RB plays no role at NYY News TV. He's actually in control of our social media on Twitter, so he handles the NYY News TV account on Twitter. So that's one of RB's like main things he does, and he handles that extremely well because we're building in so many different aspects of what we do. So we need more. If you just don't see people on air, there's a lot of people doing things in the back end also. Yeah, behind the scenes.
Yeah. Shout out to NYYST as well. That's an excellent podcast.
Amazing podcast. I tell
really
people all the time.
Enjoyed listening to you on with them, doing the Keep 'em Dumping the other day. It was a really good episode.
They are honestly my favorite podcast to sit back and watch. And I'm so happy that I get to produce their shows because I have to watch every episode.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious to hear them, and they just got a great dynamic together. But I'll be honest, man, stay tuned because I think the new podcast joining us in December is going to be phenomenal. So I'm excited about it.
Well, I hopefully have you on with the boys in the Big Apple. That would be fun sometime.
Yeah, of course. Those two twin little
the twins. Also, the Twin Bill is another absolute monster of a podcast.
Twin Bill's good, man. They've done very well too over the last couple of episodes. So we changed up the template a little bit. It looks a little nicer. Mm-hmm. So I'm a pain in the ass sometimes, to be honest. I'm a perfectionist. I hate when things mess up. I always want to do more. I always want to do better. So sometimes I'm a pain in the ass with the team, and
that's how you become great. And that's where you and the Yankees differentiate.
That's why just to let everybody know, like somebody's like, oh yeah, he calls himself the boss. I don't call myself the boss. I was given that name because I act that way. So I'm like, that's not my fault. I'm sorry. I was given that name, and I like it because has nothing to do with being the boss of the network. I don't give a poot. I never tell my team will tell you. I never go out there, hey, I'm the boss. You got to listen. I don't do that at all. Like I let them be very creative. My thing is for me, and there you go, real talk for the real fan. My thing for me is if you're gonna do something, do it the best. Do it the best of your ability. You don't do it at all. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. Do it your best. Be the best. And yeah, like the Yankees, I want to be the best network possible. I want us to be the World Series caliber network.
No,
as an Astros fan, I hope the Yankees get better. We need the rivalry to be right. Yeah, because we're not a rivalry right now. You just kick our ass. So there's no rivalry.
It's just a beatdown. Trust me, the Houston Astros, people don't notice. They started popping champagne when the Yankees won the last out against the Guardians. World Series, we're coming again. They knew it. They were ready to roll.
We were all there to watch this get no hit, and at that point, I could have just said, "This season's over," because season's always going to go one way after that.
Like we were pulling at strings, trying to figure out how the Yankees were going to navigate through the Astros. We couldn't do it.
It's never going to happen.
You know, and we're sitting here. We're not even on the field. Like we're watching it from a different spectrum, and we were just as creators. We're going, how the hell are they going to pull this off? We couldn't figure it out. There was no algorithm that made the Yankees beat the Astros.
The only way I thought about it was you just got to have a different dynamic than you had all season, and that means you got to have IKF at third base, Peraza at shortstop, and you got to add. You got to hit and run, you got to bunt, you got to get sack flies, you got to put the ball in play. It's the only chance you have. You're sitting back waiting for that big homer from Judge. It's not going to happen. Not that easily from this club.
Well, Pete, you've been a trailblazer for all content creators of the Yankees, etc.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Salute to you. And thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully get you on again very, very soon.
Anytime.
Yep. And that should wrap it up. Thank you so much for everybody in the chat. It was fire. And once again, we're on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so keep us now. Take the notification bell so that you know when the next time we come on. Also, please like and subscribe. That would be really appreciated. And as Tats always loves to say, wear your pinstripes for pride and play hard.